My name is Denny Rogers. I've been a graphic designer, illustrator, university professor, and a 4-book author for Fox Chapel Publishing. I've been a woodcarver since I was 5. When I would travel, and I would have a campfire going, and I would sit around with a 3-blade pocket knife, and I would carve. And if you don't need a tremendous amount of fancy tools to be a wood carver. You need a 3-blade pocket knife and a sharpener, and you're ready to go. You've got one of these books, you got something to look at. I did a great horned owl. I did 2 wings separate from the body and a base on a trip to Alaska. I would work in the evening where I'm settled in somewhere. I'd do a wing. There's my reference right there. This thing is jumping off of the base. The base is tall. It's all walnut. Everything that I've done of birds, I've used the method of suspension so that people scratch their head trying to figure out how the heck's that standing. This big eagle, for example, is suspended on a place no bigger around than less than $50 more than a quart. Well, it's internal engineering. Same with that black walnut owl we're talking about. I took and drilled straight holes in 2 directions and then forced a square rod into that round hole and forced that down into the base. And this thing, tiniest suspension that you can think of, that's very solid. This bald eagle book came about pretty much by accident.
These were simply for the sculpture.
For that one time American bald eagle that I was building, 8-foot wingspan. I started working in the ISU art department, and I was a teacher. One of my clients was the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and he would send me out on calls where there was an injured bird and he can't get to it, or eagle, hawk, owl, falcon. I would subdue it and get it to a rehab person. I started getting stuffed eagles and study skins from the Illinois State Museum. In between classes I was teaching, I'd sit on the drawing board knocking out these drawings right here for doing the eagle. And I was running them off on blueprint machines and taping them to the wall in the studio so that I could do a feather and hold it up there. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife guy, senior agent John Mendoza, he happened to be in President Reagan's office. And he was setting up a sting up in Alaska and Canada on peregrine falcons. Finding peregrine falcons, nesting pairs, they would go up and get the chicks out of the nest, and then they would sell them, and they were making birds that would go hunting.
Yeah, the falconries, yeah.
They had a black market going on. And he got to talking to Reagan, and he said, we got a character that works with us. He's building a big eagle you ought to see. And so he said, I want to see that. You tell that guy to mail me some copies. And so he got to watch the building of that eagle from midpoint clear to the end. At that time, he was also running for re-election. The White House had looked at 1,250 artists out there for something to use for the second inaugural. I got chosen as the official artist. I started getting all these letters from guys that were building eagles, and they started saying, man, you ought to do birds of prey. Which I thought, yeah, okay, I can do that. I can still go to these rehab places and get birds of prey. It's kind you can set on your arm and, that kind of thing. Rehab, birds of prey. Well, I haven't seen these in a while. Okay, well, this is sheet number 4. If I can hold that up.
Yeah.
See, now you can imagine this thing, if this is half scale, you can imagine what this would have been twice as big and 30 or 40 natural poses on these guys.
You're world renowned for your sense of detail to feathers. What were you looking for? You had a bird of prey sitting on your arm. What do you study about the differences in feathers?
Depending if this was an injured bird or a one-winged bird or anything like that, I would take a buddy with me, somebody to operate the camera. We would hands-on, like pin the bird down, do close-ups on everything about it, spread the wing out, photograph, that kind of thing. Take specific measurements and so on, turn it over, and do that, or photograph it in the round. This, for example, has got American kestrel in there, which is a small bird, smallest of all birds of prey, and also the quickest killer in nature. In the case of the kestrel, there's probably about 80 drawings, probably in the screech owl, 75 natural drawings of the things going through. I'd do things like, be time to eat, I'd lay a mouse on the table. Bingo, they got it. Next thing you know, they're up on the porch and they got a mouth in their eye. I would photograph it, illustrate it. Once you've taken a photograph of an outstretched and you know how all those feathers go together, then you have the ability that when you enlarge that thing, you'll have the ability to throw measurements on it because you've already outlined or drawn what the dimensions are.